Deep in the southern African wilderness, long before European ships appeared on distant horizons, a forbidden plateau rose silently above swirling river mists. Atop this sheer sandstone fortress lay a hoard of pure, hand-hammered gold. For centuries, colonial explorers insisted that ancient southern Africa had no monumental architecture, no sacred kings, and zero complex monetary trade. They claimed the vast continent was isolated, primitive, and completely disconnected from global wealth. But buried beneath layers of red soil rested a golden rhinoceros, crafted with surgical precision by master African goldsmiths. It was the sacred emblem of a hidden empire that quietly commanded global trade routes long before Europe awakened. This powerful kingdom dominated thousands of square kilometers without a single stone castle wall. Its sacred ruler ruled in total secrecy from an inaccessible cliff top, surrounded by fortunes of ivory, copper, and imported Chinese porcelain. This is the forgotten story of Mapungubwe. It was southern Africa's original city of gold, the strategic blueprint that birthed Great Zimbabwe, and a civilization whose sheer genius was deliberately erased from modern history books. To understand how this empire rose, we must travel back nearly 1,000 years to the Shashlimpopo Basin. Here, two massive rivers converged, creating a fertile oasis surrounded by treacherous, sun-baked African wilderness. Early pastoral communities grazed cattle along the valley floor, but as trade routes expanded toward the Indian Ocean, a radical transformation took hold. Wealth was no longer measured solely by cattle, but by rare, luminous metal. Local miners discovered rich gold deposits buried deep within ancient granite formations. They developed sophisticated smelting furnaces, using charcoal combustion to extract pure gold from raw quartz, mastering metallurgy with incredible precision. As gold production surged, the society underwent a dramatic social evolution. For the first time in southern African history, a distinct class structure emerged, separating the common population from an elite ruling dynasty. But this was not merely about material wealth. The leaders of Mapungubwe understood that true power required sacred authority, psychological control, and strategic spatial dominance over every single person in the valley. In the heart of the settlement stood Mapungubwe Hill, a massive sandstone plateau with sheer 30-meter vertical cliffs. Access was restricted to narrow, hidden rock crevices guarded by elite warriors. The king moved his royal court to the summit, physically elevating himself above the commoners living below. This marked the birth of divine kingship, where the ruler was perceived as a sacred mediator between heaven and earth. Commoners were strictly forbidden from looking directly upon the sacred hill. Food and royal tributes were hauled up the steep cliffs using leather ropes, while guards monitored every movement across the valley floor. Atop the plateau, royal goldsmiths labored in secret workshops. They hammered delicate gold foil over wooden carvings, crafting golden rhinos, scepters, and ceremonial bowls that showcased ultimate political sovereignty. Word of this golden mountain spread rapidly beyond the Limpopo. Caravan trails began forming, stretching hundreds of kilometers east toward the coastal ports of the Swahili coast. But that wasn't the real strategy. Mapungubwe's leaders did not just wait for local traders. They systematically integrated their kingdom into the massive, high-stakes trade network of the Indian Ocean. Swahili merchants carried Mapungubwe's refined gold and carved ivory to coastal port cities like Kilwa. From there, dhows swept across the ocean, transporting African gold to Arabia, India, and Song Dynasty China. In return, exotic luxury goods flooded into Mapungubwe. Archaeologists uncovered thousands of glass trade beads from Persia and delicate Celadon porcelain shards buried alongside royal burials atop the sandstone hill. Mapungubwe had become a major nexus of international commerce. Yet, while the kingdom reached the pinnacle of its economic power, an invisible threat was quietly gathering along the horizon. And this is where everything changed. Around the year 1220, the climate across southern Africa began to shift violently, plunging the region into a devastating, prolonged drought. The Great Shash and Limpopo rivers, which had nourished crops and cattle for generations, slowly dried into cracked, dusty riverbeds. Agriculture collapsed, and panic spread among the valley commoners. The sacred king atop the hill performed rain-making rituals, but the skies remained unyielding. The ecological foundation, supporting thousands of citizens, was crumbling under relentless, scorching heat. Tensions mounted across the kingdom. Rival clans questioned the divine authority of the ruler, while neighboring chiefdoms eyed Mapungubwe's immense gold reserves with predatory ambition. Realizing that the Limpopo Basin could no longer sustain an empire, Mapungubwe's strategic leaders made a bold, calculated decision. They resolved to abandon their sacred city before total collapse. But they did not scatter into chaos. Instead, the royal family, master metallurgists, and elite architects executed an organized evacuation, packing their gold treasures and ancestral knowledge. They marched northeastward, into the fertile plateau of modern-day Zimbabwe. There, amidst lush highlands and rich timber forests, they laid the foundation for a new, even grander imperial center. The architecture, sacred class division, and gold refining technologies pioneered at Mapungubwe were expanded on a monumental scale. This new capital became known as Great Zimbabwe. Massive curved stone walls were erected without mortar, towering over 11 meters high. The legacy of Mapungubwe had evolved into one of Africa's most breathtaking architectural wonders. Meanwhile, back in the Limpopo Valley, Mapungubwe Hill fell completely silent. Wind swept across the abandoned sandstone plateau, covering the royal graves and gold artifacts under centuries of dust. For over 700 years, local indigenous communities kept the memory of the hill sacred. They treated Mapungubwe as a tabernacle of ancestral spirits, strictly forbidding outsiders from climbing its cliffs. But in December 1932, a local farmer revealed the secret location to a group of European fortune hunters. Driven by rumors of ancient gold, the men scrambled up the hidden rock clefts. Atop the hill, they uncovered royal graves, filled with thousands of gold beads, gold bangles, and the exquisite Golden Rhino of Mapungubwe. The discovery stunned the academic world. However, the colonial authorities of South Africa faced an ideological crisis. The existence of a highly sophisticated, gold-smelting African kingdom, long before European arrival, shattered their historical narratives. To preserve the myth of European racial superiority, official institutions classified the discovery as top secret. The gold artifacts were locked away in dark university vaults for decades. Historians and state-backed scholars falsely attributed the gold items to ancient Mediterranean travelers, Persians, or mysterious lost tribes, refusing to admit that indigenous Africans were the creators. For over half a century, the truth about Mapungubwe was suppressed. The Golden Rhino remained hidden from the public eye, its origin story distorted by political propaganda. But truth cannot be buried forever. With the end of apartheid in the 1990s, independent archaeologists re-examined the site, using modern carbon dating and chemical analysis. The results were undeniable. The gold foil, smelting slag, trade beads, and ceramic pottery were unequivocally produced by indigenous African ancestors between 1075 and 1220 AD. The chemical signature of the glass beads matched trade routes, connecting Mapungubwe directly to medieval Asian ports, proving southern Africa's key role in global history. Mapungubwe was officially declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The Golden Rhino became South Africa's highest national honor, the Order of Mapungubwe, celebrating supreme achievement. Today, scholars recognize Mapungubwe as the cradle of southern African statehood. It proved that African civilizations were master architects of global trade long before colonial interference. The social innovation of sacred hilltop governance established a political template that influenced kingdoms across southern Africa for half a millennium. The gold artisans of Mapungubwe crafted pieces of staggering beauty, proving that technical mastery and artistic elegance flourished in the African interior long before the Renaissance. Mapungubwe shatters the colonial lie that Africa was isolated from global intellectual and economic progress. Its traders bartered on equal terms with the greatest maritime powers of the ancient world. From the top of Mapungubwe Hill, one can still look across the vast confluence of two ancient rivers, feeling the overwhelming presence of an empire that defied extinction. Historical records now confirm that over 20,000 gold artifacts were recovered from just 3 royal graves on the plateau, demonstrating unparalleled wealth. Archaeological excavations at Kilwa Kisiwani in Tanzania matched gold purity levels with Mapungubwe mines, proving direct trade routes spanning thousands of sea miles. The structural design of Great Zimbabwe's royal enclosure directly mirrors the spatial hierarchy first established on the sandstone cliffs of Mapungubwe. DNA analysis of skeletal remains recovered from the site confirmed unbroken genetic lineage to contemporary Bantu-speaking populations of southern Africa. Mapungubwe stands as irrefutable evidence of indigenous African political genius, economic enterprise, and artistic brilliance that flourished in harmony with the land. The Golden Rhino of Mapungubwe continues to shine, not just as a precious artifact, but as a luminous symbol of reclaimed history and restored dignity. Though environmental forces forced its people to move, their spirit and technical mastery migrated into the stone towers of Great Zimbabwe and beyond. Empires may crumble and rivers may dry, but the legacy of human ingenuity carved into ancient sandstone endures through the centuries. Stories like Mapungubwe were never meant to be widely known in textbooks, yet they hold the key to understanding the true depth of human history. And this was only the beginning of the untold sagas waiting to be uncovered in the deep heart of Africa.